Hello, once again, this is Antonio, and I'm coming at you with another exciting video. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I love to publish books. I've been publishing books for about 6 months now, and I definitely want to grow my channel. Not only do I want to grow my channel, but I definitely want to showcase my work as a book author now. I'm proud to say that that's what I am now, a book author. But America, we are at a literary crisis. And what do I mean by that? Well, children are reading at an all-time low right now. I mean, literally, children are reading at an all-time low. And it's bad, people. It's not good. I did a video on my other channel where we spoke about how children are especially black children are reading at some of the lowest levels. And I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but I'm just speaking about the reason why it's very important for children to be able to read. Now, the reading rainbow for me had to been one of the all-time reasons why I got into reading. Oh, I love reading as a child. I love reading. The Reading Rainbow came out in 1983. And when that came out, it was so significant because the song alone captured your attention. But now kids are not reading. Kids are not reading. And it's at a crisis. It's like what tends to happen is when your child is young, to shut them up, what parents do is they shove a phone or tablet in their face. Kids can break down and do everything. They can Google search and Bing search and everything else on the phone, but they cannot read. It's so bad that it's at a crisis. So when I was a kid, this song was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to read.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere, friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow.
Now that video alone brought back so much memories for me as a young adult. But reading now is at a all-time crisis. It's a crisis in America where kids do not know how to read. It's so bad that they're pulling books even out of stores. They're not trying to help your child.
Lux Weavers is
Not
a
at
e-commerce
all are they
first
trying to help your child. It's bad, people.
company. We
Let's get
focus
past
in
this
the
ad.
home
We
and
should have had this
textile
ad
segment.
skip.
Walmart Marketplace is essential.
All right, let's play this.
Here's ABC's Gerald Bryant with tonight's Prime Focus.
Gotta watch the baseball.
Little League batting practice
Straighten it out.
in the 90-degree Louisiana heat. A sign that Demekus and Kesney Cook want the best for their kids.
All right, let's get some hits, buddy.
And it's that love that turned to panic not long ago.
There's got to be a lot of sleepless nights that come with that.
Yes, because you're worried.
Sight, sound,
All because when he started second grade 2 years ago,
touch.
learning to read wasn't clicking for Demekus Jr.
Sound it out for me.
Explain. It's almost as if we question ourselves, like, is our child the only one going through this? Almost as if it was.
But there are millions.
That's right.
Traveling the country, we learned Demekus and his parents are far from alone.
We had spark. Okay, so what was our word?
What we found is a story about kids. What does it feel like when you read?
Hard. I'll get mad and sad, and I just say I can't do it no more. I can't do it.
What does inspiration mean?
About the fierce coast-to-coast debate over how to teach them to read.
What do you do here? What do you work on here?
Reading.
Okay, all right, follow the steps.
And about an often overlooked race against time facing every school in the country.
Oars.
To help struggling students read before it's too late.
The older that a child gets, the harder it is.
All right, we're gonna try another one. Ready?
America has faced troubling reading scores for as long as the government has kept track. Every year since 1992, the Department of Education has found roughly 1/3 of the country's fourth graders read below what's considered the basic level. In 8th grade, that number gets better, but not by much. 1 in every 4 students. In Warrensville Heights, Ohio, just outside Cleveland,
You have to love what you're doing.
33-year teaching veteran Carla Pleasant explained to us helping a struggling reader is about intervening early.
The younger you get them. So after about, I would say, 2nd or 3rd grade, it gets really tough.
Just raise your hand. Does anyone here feel stressed sometimes when they read?
These students we met in a summer school class down the hall are nearing the end of that window. They're in 3rd grade and told us what they experience when they read.
How does it feel when you come across a word you don't know?
You get sad.
You get sad.
David here was brave enough to give reading out loud a try.
That was one of the words we were learning earlier. That last word right there.
Front.
Try that one more time. You got it?
Frat.
So it's raft.
Raft.
And this was one of those words we were talking about earlier. Good job.
Sniff.
Yeah, sniffs.
Sniff.
What David used to figure out that last word is what we saw and heard.
Say snore. Snore. Tap phonemes. Or.
Reading specialist Chantel Barhorst
We're listening for the sound.
teaching to try to get these students up to speed.
Okay, read one more time for me.
It's called phonics, the sounds and letters that make up a word. A once popular scientific approach, proponents say, which allows students to decode the whole word, then the sentence, and ultimately what's on the page. Steps that come almost naturally for some students, but not everyone.
So it's helping them crack the code. So how many phoneme boxes do we need?
But not everybody teaches reading the way you do. Does that surprise you?
Unfortunately, no.
For years, Carla Pleasant says many classrooms in Warrensville Heights didn't teach reading that way either. Their solution to reach struggling readers was a teaching style called balanced literacy, which is still popular in many schools across the country. It's designed to develop a love of reading and a comfort with books, but it can also involve suggesting students guess certain words.
Cookies is the picture.
And even look at pictures to decipher the words on the page, something instructors took to calling picture power. One problem, Pleasant says,
I could tell it was not working.
Why?
Because the students weren't performing.
So she reversed course, took to teaching phonics under the table.
And you were keeping that secret from your bosses.
Keeping it secret from the bosses, but getting the success in the classroom.
A new school administration eventually followed her lead and began requiring the kind of meticulous phonics instruction
Let's tap it together.
you saw in class earlier. And Warrensville Heights Elementary went from low reading scores to an A rating with the state. Now this school is an example for Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine, who's moving to require all state schools teach phonics and other similar strategies, often called the science of reading.
He swims on his back.
A plan to reach struggling readers, first pioneered in a state that some educators had written off as a lost cause: Mississippi. A decade ago, students here ranked last in reading, 50th out of 50 states. Today, Mississippi is 21st in the nation in literacy. And in educational circles, that seemingly impossible turnaround even earned its own name.
You know what they call what happened here?
We've heard.
The Mississippi Miracle.
Right.
How did you pull that off?
We don't necessarily think that it should be a miracle that children learn to read.
In this classroom, Dr. Kimyana Burke, the state's former literacy director, showed us how she brought her state back from the brink.
Yeah, you see me just smiling, right? I can't stop smiling.
Asking the state's teachers to lean hard into phonics, the way her generation and her parents' generation learned to read.
Now he chooses a brush.
Instruction, she says, that was virtually missing in Mississippi classrooms, and still is in many states, because it fell out of fashion.
It was really kind of this aha moment around there's a lot of work that we have to do here.
Are you saying schools were just graduating kids who didn't fundamentally know how to read?
Yeah, it's happened all of.
Okay, one moment. All right, let's remove the screen, and I'm gonna have to bring back the screen. Because my headphones actually died. But let's get back into the video nevertheless.
It's to follow Mississippi's lead.
Mississippi proved that you can be poor, you can be black, you can be Hispanic, you can be all of those things, and you can still be taught how to read.
So far, by the start of this school year, at least 30 states, including D.C. and New York City, have agreed requiring phonics instruction and other science of reading education to address sagging reading scores. Skeptics of the phonics movement say it's an educational fad, just like balanced literacy once was. And there's no one-size-fits-all solution to America's reading crisis.
Yeah, so how many phonemes can you read?
And it's not just on teachers. Educators say familiarizing kids with letters, words, and books starts at home.
Are you saying that right now in the United States, a parent can send their child to school and it's not guaranteed if they will learn how to read?
Yes.
I think people would find that alarming.
Yes, it is alarming.
Back where we started, in Louisiana, the state has overhauled how it's teaching reading to help students.
She washed.
Like our little leaguer, Demekus Cook. Demekus also gets help from a state-funded tutoring program, paying for private instruction on phonics and other skills for Demekus.
So number 4 is right? Yep.
And the other students we met at this Sylvan Learning Center.
And what happens when you come up to a big word? What do?
I try my best.
They are so excited, and they cry in my office because it's life-changing. It's life-changing.
Do these issues predate COVID or?
Oh, absolutely.
Christy Sharon has owned this tutoring center for more than 25 years and warns what can happen when a student doesn't get help early.
Oftentimes, we may get a third grader who can't read at all, that we have to go back to basics.
You're saying for decades you've had third graders walk into this building who can't read at all?
Yes, we have. Yes. It's more common than not. I had a 9th grader once that came in, and he couldn't read at all, and he didn't know his letters, and...
9th grade.
9th grade.
Determined Demekus wouldn't fall through the cracks, the Cook family is overjoyed that his swing isn't the only thing that's gotten better with time and practice.
How does it feel when you read now?
Good.
Reading is the key to life.
A key every kid needs, but one millions of American students still don't have.
We can get these children early, and we can teach them to read. They can do anything.
Now, one of the reasons why I put on the Reading Rainbow, now this article is from 8 years ago, and the limits of Reading Rainbow. For me, I used to love when my parents gave me money to go to a book fair and things like that, because I used to read encyclopedias, dictionaries when I was a kid. That don't make me the best reader in the world. But I think on my platform, I'm going to start reading books to children because it's a void, and it's a Reading Rainbow void. On the Reading Rainbow, they used to always read you a book. You always got read to. And at one point, kids read a little better, right? But when you look at the aspect of what's going on, kids are reading at an all-time low. In Michigan, especially black children, they are reading. The black children there are at a epidemic low status of illiteracy. They can't read. The black children in Michigan can't read. I did a video about it. 36 million Americans are reading at a fourth grade level or less. That's catastrophic. And what PBS did, not only did they cancel the Reading Rainbow at one point, they totally took it off the platform. It's like it's a setup to have kids where they can't do the natural things. When I grew up, we only had 4 stations, and PBS played a huge role in our household. On May 28th, now this is from 2014, the people behind Reading Rainbow launched a Kickstarter campaign to bring Reading Rainbow back for every child everywhere. They gave themselves 35 days to raise $1 million. That took less than 12 hours. So they raised their fundraising goal to $5 million hours before the campaign closed. With the help of more than 100,000 backers and a smorgasbord of rewards for contributors, they made that goal too. Reading Rainbow's campaign hits the internet sweet pot, millennials nostalgia, a kitschy, easily parodied theme song, Upworthy-worthy goal of putting books in every child's hands nationwide. Reading Rainbow, hosted by the actor LeVar Burton, began airing on PBS in 1983. It was beloved in schools. In 1997, teachers rated Reading Rainbow as the best public television program they have used for educational purposes, according to a Corporation for Public Broadcasting study. But in the early aughts, the funding that supported the show began to disintegrate. Donald Boswell, the president of WNED Buffalo Reading Rainbow home station, told me some federal for literacy programs was diverted to math and science education. Funding that did remain available for language arts went to programs emphasizing basic skills like phonics and spelling rather than the love for mastery of reading. Reading Rainbow was canceled in 2006. Reruns stayed on the air until 2009 when PBS pulled the show from its lineup. Burton had known that the Reading Rainbow was beloved, but didn't realize what a cult classic it was until it was gone. In 2009, Burton and Mark Fox, who had been a producer on the show, was listening to an NPR program covering the end of Reading Rainbow, and the audience members started calling it to express their dismay. People were saying, I'm 27, I have my own kids. I naturally presumed it would be available. I'm so sad, Wolf told me. LeVar and I looked at each other. Wow. In 2011, Wolf and Burton licensed the Reading Rainbow brand from WNED Buffalo and formed a business called RR Kids, with Wolf as a CEO to bring the program back to life in another form. In 2012, RR Kids announced that it had built a Reading Rainbow tablet app. Within 36 hours of its release, it became the most downloaded educational app on the iTunes Store. It remained one of the most popular reading apps with more than 15 million books and videos accessed since its launch. We're going to read this and we're going to bring it to a close. The Reading Rainbow of today is different than the one that I remember from childhood. In the television version, a soothing voice reading books to viewers as illustrations drift across the screen like fish in an aquarium. LeVar and the gang will go on trips related to the featured books. They'll run hot air balloons, bury time capsules, and learn sign language from Coco and the gorilla. The television series also featured real-life animals trumpeting their favorite books. The Reading Rainbow tablet app is busier. It includes ebooks, videos, and games organized into sections with titles like Action Adventures and Magical Tales or Animal Kingdom. A lot of the old elements remain: field trips, book read out loud. But while the TV show was all about using the screen to get kids away from the screen, the reading app is about doing everything, including reading on the screen. The Kickstarter campaign, which includes a lot of rhetoric about bringing reading back, is really about improving the existing app. The Rainbow executives want to add more books, videos, and other material. Now that they have reached their funding goal, they plan to make it available not only to tablets, but on computers, smartphones, Xboxes, and connected televisions. And they're going to provide the app for free to thousands of schools with low-income students. For others, it costs $9.99 per month. The campaign has been praised from nearly every corner of the internet, but there has been a backlash. Caitlin Dewey at the Washington Post cast doubt on the campaign's grandiose charity rhetoric. She wrote that crowdfunding is theoretically supposed to bolster charities, startups, independent artists, small business owners, and other projects that actually need the financial support of the masses to succeed. It's not supposed to be co-opted by companies with profit motives and private investors of their own, which, despite Burton's charisma, is exactly what the Rainbow reboot is. Wolf counted that for-profit companies have altruistic motives. It takes money to create things, he said, and that's perfectly fine. So I want to make this video on purpose because what we got to understand is that people are not reading. Kids don't know how to read. 36 million Americans read at a fourth grade level. And it's like the entertainment of gossip have taken over the world. You shove a tablet in their face, your children can tell you what Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith got going on, but they can't formulate words. They don't know anything. And when you cast them out of school, if they make it that far, they're going to be the very people to try to teach their kids. And you're going to find out very quickly that illiteracy becomes intergenerational, meaning if you're trying to teach your child how to read and you don't know how to read, it recycles to the next generation. And specifically, it goes into the Black community, unfortunately. So I'm going to stay on top of these type videos, and I'm going to do videos where I'm reading to children. I think that's going to be very important as well. This is Antonio with Team Tiggio Publishing. I'm sorry, Team Tiggio is my other channel, Tiggio Publishing. Please like, comment, subscribe, as we'll be coming to you with more videos in the future. And once again, we'll see you in the next video.